Aliens find out why humans command fear across the galaxy. The galaxy had always been full of life. Thousands of species lived among the stars, each proud of its own strength. Some were large and powerful. Some were fast and clever, but none of them had ever faced humans and understood their strange way of surviving. Most aliens thought humans were weak. They were small, soft, and fragile-looking. Yet whispers traveled through space about humans being something different. Some said humans could survive anything. Some said humans were fearless. Others said humans could fight like no one else. Velkin, a young alien observer from the planet Coral, sat in a dark room aboard the observation station. He looked at the flickering lights on the screen. The screen showed human worlds. One of them was Earth, and the other was a growing network of human colonies in space. Velkin had been studying humans for months. He had watched them grow crops on harsh planets, build huge cities, and travel into the stars. Something about them made him uneasy. "Velkin," said a voice behind him. It was Elder Tormak, the head of the council. "Do you really believe the stories about humans? They are just small creatures. They cannot survive in space like we can." Velkin shook his head slowly. "I do not know yet," he said. "But I have watched them. They are not like other species. They do not fear the galaxy as we do. Even when danger comes, they do not run. They stand, they fight, and they survive. I think we have underestimated them." Tormak grunted. "Stories are dangerous. We cannot allow our fleets to act on rumors. Humans are not strong. They will not last long against us if we meet them in battle." Velkin stared at the screen again. He saw a human ship leaving orbit around Mars. Its metal hull was shiny and its engines glowed red. On board, humans moved quickly and with purpose. Captain John Carter and his first officer, Lisa Brown, were overseeing the ship's preparations. "Captain, we have reports of alien ships approaching," said Lieutenant Marco, a young crew member. John Carter nodded calmly. "Keep your crew ready, but do not panic. Let them come. We will see what they want." Lisa Brown frowned.
"They could attack us."
"We should warn the colonies." John shook his head. "We do not strike first. They must make the first move. Humans are careful, but we are not cowards." The alien patrol fleet approached slowly. Their ships were huge and angular, filled with weapons that could destroy planets. The aliens expected humans to flee or surrender. They expected fear. Velkin watched with wide eyes. He had expected humans to run. He had expected them to scream or plead. Instead, the humans on the bridge of their ship moved calmly. They checked systems, gave orders, and prepared defenses. Their faces showed no panic. The humans were strange. One of the alien commanders, Zorlak, growled in frustration. "Why do they not fear us? We are more powerful. We should be obeyed." Velkin tilted his head. "Perhaps," he said softly, "they do not obey because they do not care for power. They care for survival and for each other." The human convoy continued on its path. The alien ships moved to intercept. Zorlak's voice came through loudspeakers. "Humans, turn back. Your species cannot survive against us. Surrender now." Captain Carter stood straight. He looked at the screen and spoke clearly. "We will not turn back. We have no reason to surrender. We only wish to pass peacefully." Lisa Brown watched the aliens with concern. "They do not understand us. They see weakness." "They will test us," Carter nodded. "Then we will show them we are not weak. But we will not be cruel. We fight to survive, not to destroy." The alien commander laughed, a deep, harsh sound. "You are brave or foolish. We will find out soon enough." The first shots fired were not what Velkin expected. He thought humans would panic or retreat. Instead, the human ships fired carefully, not wildly. Each shot was aimed. Each move was calculated. The aliens were surprised. Their ships shook as humans avoided attacks with clever maneuvers. Velkin leaned forward. "They are learning," he whispered. "They are not just reacting. They are thinking, planning, and adapting. This is not like other species." The aliens grew angry. Zorlak shouted orders. Destroy them! They must fear us! But the humans kept moving. They did not scream. They did not cry. They did not give up. One human, a young engineer named Daniel Brooks, worked on the control panels as alarms rang. Sparks flew around him. He kept working. He fixed damaged systems and restored power. His hands moved quickly, calmly, without panic. "Daniel, are you okay?" Lisa Brown asked, watching him. "I am fine," he said. "We cannot stop now. We must protect the ship. We survive, or we all die." Velkin felt a chill in his scales. He had never seen anything like this. The humans did not fight with anger. They did not fight with hate. They fought with willpower. They fought with careful thought. Every move was planned. Every decision counted. The aliens did not expect this. They thought humans would break under pressure. They thought humans would beg or flee. But humans were strange. They were small, soft, and fragile-looking. Yet they moved like steel and fire. Captain Carter ordered a maneuver. "Prepare the decoys. Move the civilians to the safe sections." Belkin saw the aliens' confusion. "Why do they not attack fully?" he asked. "They could destroy us with their weapons," Lisa Brown shouted over the comms. "Decoys deployed." Shields up. The aliens tried to follow the human ships, but the humans were faster than expected. They used clever tricks. They split the fleet. They created false signals, and they saved their people without harming anyone unnecessarily. Velkan leaned back. "They are showing mercy," he whispered, "and they are winning." The battle continued for hours. Each side learned from the other. The aliens began to fear not the human weapons, but their calm resolve. Humans did not shout. They did not panic. They did not lose hope. On Earth, news of the alien patrol reached the government. President Laura Hayes watched reports on the screen. She knew humans had survived wars, disasters, and hardships on their planet. She smiled. "Our people always find a way," she said. Back in space, young alien Velkin could not believe what he was seeing. Humans were more than rumor. They were more than stories. They were alive with determination. They were alive with courage. He realized the truth. Humans were feared, not because of strength, not because of size, but because they never gave up. As the alien patrol retreated, Velkin recorded every detail. "I must report this," he said to himself. "The galaxy must know. Humans are not weak. Humans command fear. And we do not yet understand why." Captain John Carter looked at the stars. He knew the aliens would return. He knew the galaxy would watch humans closely. But he did not worry. Humans had survived worse. Humans had endured. Humans had fought when others ran. And that was why they would always stand, even against impossible odds. The first part of the story ended with the humans continuing their journey. The aliens went back to their home worlds, whispering warnings. Velkin stayed behind, thinking deeply. Humans were strange, unpredictable, and powerful in a way no one understood. The galaxy had underestimated them. The galaxy had made a mistake. And somewhere in the stars, the rumor of humans grew. Humans, small and fragile as they seemed, were about to change everything. The galaxy had learned of humans, but few really understood them. Stories traveled faster than light, and rumors made humans sound stronger than they seemed. Many alien species were curious. Some were afraid. Yet most believed humans were lucky, nothing more. Velkin, the young observer from Coral, studied the humans' actions from his station. He recorded every move, every decision they made. Every strange way they survived, he could not explain it. The humans were small, weak-looking, yet they moved with courage. They faced danger calmly. They did not panic. On the human ship horizon, Captain John Carter paced the bridge. First Officer Lisa Brown watched him, her face tense. "Captain, we are receiving a signal," said Lieutenant Marco.
"It is from the Alien Alliance. They demand we surrender or leave this sector immediately."
John nodded slowly. "We expected this. Keep shields ready, but do not fire unless necessary. We move carefully. We survive first, not fight blindly. Lisa frowned. They have more ships than us. If we fight, we could lose everything. John looked at the stars. Maybe. But humans survive by thinking, not by giving up. That is our advantage. We will see if they understand it. The alien ships appeared in the distance. They were huge, black and silver, moving in perfect formation. Their engines glowed red. Their weapons looked like nothing humans had ever faced. The aliens thought humans would surrender immediately. They expected fear, but humans did not. Captain Carter gave orders quietly. Divert power to shields. Prepare all crews for emergency maneuvers. Keep civilian ships behind us. Move quickly, but do not panic. Lisa watched the human pilots move with calm precision. They were small, yes, and fragile-looking, but they did their jobs perfectly. Engineers repaired systems even under fire. Soldiers protected civilians without hesitation. The humans were disciplined and smart. Velkin watched from his observation station. He could not believe his eyes. The humans did not flee. They did not scream. They did not shout in fear. They acted with logic and courage. He whispered to himself, "They are not like other species. They fight with their minds, not just their bodies." The aliens attacked first. Their weapons fired in powerful beams. Human shields flared, absorbing damage. Horizon and the other ships moved in synchronized patterns. They dodged attacks, fired back, and protected weaker ships. One young human soldier, David Stone, took control of a small gun turret. He aimed carefully, shooting only when he had a clear target. He did not panic. He did not hesitate.
"Good work, David," said Lisa. "Keep it up."
David smiled briefly. We survive by thinking. That is all. The aliens grew frustrated. Why do they not fear us? Zorlak shouted from his command ship. They are weak. They are small. They should beg for mercy. Belkin shook his head. You do not understand. They are small, yes, but they do not give up. That is why they are dangerous. The battle continued for hours. Humans used clever tactics. They split alien formations, created false signals, and protected their civilians. One ship, the Freedom, was badly damaged. Its engines failed. On board, engineer Maria Hill worked quickly. She crawled through smoke and debris, repairing circuits with trembling hands.
"Maria, are you sure you can fix it?" asked her colleague Tom Lewis.
I have to, she said. If we fail, we all die. We survive, or we die trying. Velkin watched closely. He could not stop thinking. These humans were extraordinary. They did not fight because they enjoyed killing. They fought because they had to live. They worked together, helped each other, and never gave up. On the alien side, commanders began arguing.
"We cannot understand them," one said. "They are not afraid."
They do not retreat. They do not beg. How can this be? Velkin shook his head. Fear is not what makes them strong. Their strength is their will, their courage, their refusal to surrender, even when all hope seems lost. Meanwhile, on Horizon, Captain Carter ordered a bold maneuver. We split into smaller groups. Each group protects a civilian ship and attacks one alien vessel at a time. Keep calm.
"Keep thinking. Stay alive."
The humans executed the order perfectly. Smaller ships moved quickly, avoiding heavy fire. Pilots like Kevin Ross and Daniel Brooks used skill and logic to outmaneuver alien ships. Humans were not faster or stronger, but they were clever. They used their brains, not just their weapons. Velkin wrote everything down. He could see now why the galaxy feared humans. They were unpredictable. They survived against all odds. They did not panic. They adapted. An alien ship fired directly at Horizon. The weapon struck the outer hull. Sparks flew across the bridge. Crew members shouted, but Captain Carter remained calm. "Shields up! Adjust power to the rear engines. Keep moving," he commanded. Lisa watched as the ship responded perfectly. The humans had practiced this scenario many times. Every person knew their role. Every move counted. David Stone fired the turret again, hitting the alien ship's weak point. The alien ship shuddered. Its systems failed. The humans had not destroyed it entirely, but they had survived the attack and damaged the enemy. Velkin leaned back. "It is not their weapons that are dangerous," he muttered. "It is their minds, their will, their determination." The aliens began to retreat. Zorlak growled angrily. "They cannot be weak, yet they survive." How was this possible? Captain Carter watched the aliens leave. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. He knew this was only the beginning. Humans had survived today, yes, but the galaxy was larger, and other enemies were watching. Lisa Brown came up to him. "Captain, do you think they will return?" "They will," he said calmly. "But we will be ready. Humans survive by learning." Humans survive by standing together. And humans never give up. Velkin continued to record. He knew this was not just a battle. This was a lesson for the galaxy. Humans did not fight for power or conquest. They fought for survival. They fought for their people. And in that they were unstoppable. Back on Earth, President Laura Hayes received the news. She looked at the screen showing human ships returning safely. She knew humans had faced countless dangers before. Wars on Earth, disasters and hardships had hardened them. She spoke quietly. "Our people always survive. That is why the galaxy will never understand them. That is why humans are feared." As Horizon returned to base, Captain Carter spoke to his crew. "We survived today, but we must always be ready. The galaxy is watching. Other fleets will test us. But remember this: humans do not surrender. Humans do not panic. Humans never give up." The crew nodded. They had seen the aliens retreat. They had seen the strange fear in alien eyes. They had fought carefully, smartly, and together. They had survived. Velkin watched everything on his screen. He could not stop thinking about what he had witnessed. Humans were small, fragile-looking creatures. Yet they had survived against superior forces. They had fought with brains, not just weapons. They had shown courage and mercy. And they had won. The galaxy had begun to whisper. Humans were different. Dravens were strange. Humans were dangerous. And soon, Velkin knew, the truth would spread further. But for now, the humans rested. They repaired their ships. They cared for their wounded. They talked quietly about what had happened. Captain Carter walked among them. He did not boast. He did not celebrate. He only reminded them of what mattered. "Remember this," he said. "We fight to survive. We protect our people. We do not panic. We think. We adapt. That is why humans will always endure. That is why the galaxy will never fully understand us. And that is why humans are feared." The first real test was over. Humans had faced their first battle with a superior alien fleet. They had survived not by strength alone, but by courage, intelligence, and determination. Velkin knew he would report this to the Council. The galaxy needed to understand what he had seen. Humans were not weak. Humans were not simple. Humans were unstoppable in ways no one had imagined. And so, the legend of humans grew. Not because they destroyed worlds, not because they conquered others, but because they survived, adapted, and never gave up. The aliens would return. The galaxy would test humans again. But the humans of Horizon and every other ship were ready. For humans, survival was not a choice. It was who they were. And that was why the galaxy would come to fear them. After the first battle, the galaxy was talking. Alien fleets whispered about humans. They could not understand how small creatures survived against superior forces. Some feared humans, some were curious, but few dared approach. Velkan, the young observer from Corral, could not stop thinking about what he had seen. Humans were more than stories or rumors. They were alive with courage and determination. He returned to his station to continue his study. This time he looked at the history of humans, their past and their survival. He accessed old records from Earth. He watched videos, read documents, and listened to accounts of human struggles. He learned that humans had survived wars against each other, plagues, famines, and disasters. They had built cities in harsh climates. They had traveled into space despite the dangers. Humans never gave up, even when the odds were against them. Vulcan shook his head. "No other species does this," he muttered. "They survive because they refuse to surrender. They endure pain and loss, and they keep moving forward." On Horizon, Captain John Carter and his crew were preparing for their next mission. The first battle had shown them that aliens were watching. The galaxy was curious, and the humans knew they could not hide.
"Captain," said Lisa Brown, "we should study the reports about human history.
Maybe it will help us predict how other species will act." John nodded. "Humans have survived for thousands of years. We learn from our mistakes. We adapt. That is why we are feared. That is why we endure." In the human archives, Lieutenant Marco found old stories about survival. He read about Daniel Brooks, a man who had led a group of refugees through a war-torn city. He read about Maria Hill, who had saved her family during a massive flood. Every story showed humans acting under pressure, thinking clearly and never giving up. "These humans are remarkable," Marco said quietly. "They face death and still move forward. They do not panic. They do not cry. They fight with everything they have."
John Carter listened.
That is what makes humans strong. Not our weapons, not our ships. It is our courage. It is our will to survive. Balkan watched all of this from his observation station. He could see why humans commanded fear across the galaxy. They did not need to destroy others to be dangerous. They survived because they refused to surrender, refused to panic, and refused to accept defeat. Meanwhile, alien fleets were discussing the humans. Commander Zorlak called a council. "We cannot understand them. They are weak, yet they survive. They do not fear us. How can this be?" One elder alien, Koran, spoke quietly. "We have ignored their past. Humans have survived disasters we cannot imagine. They have fought each other, faced plagues, floods, and wars. Their history teaches them to endure. That is why they are dangerous."
Vulcan recorded every word. "They finally understand," he whispered.
Humans are feared because they never give up. On Horizon, the crew trained for the next mission. They ran drills, repaired ships, and studied tactics. Every crew member knew that humans could not rely on luck alone. They survived because they were smart, disciplined, and brave. One young pilot, Kevin Ross, spoke to his friend David Stone. "We are small, but we are smart. We fight together. We never give up. That is why we survive."
David nodded. "Yes. Other species may have bigger weapons, stronger ships,
But humans have determination, and that is stronger than anything else." Captain Carter watched his crew. He knew the galaxy was learning about humans. He also knew that humans' past had shaped them. Humans were not born to fear. They were born to endure. They were born to survive. In another part of the galaxy, Belkin showed the Alien Council human history. He explained how humans had survived disasters on their home world. He described wars, plagues, floods, and famines. He spoke of human leaders like Laura Hayes, Daniel Brooks, Maria Hill, and countless others who had acted with courage and intelligence. The Alien Council listened. They did not understand humans at first. They thought strength was size and weapons. But humans were different. Humans survived because they refused to give up, no matter how bad the situation, Zorlak grumbled.
They are small, they are fragile.
And yet they survive. They should be afraid. They should fall, but they do not. This is dangerous. This is strange. This is fearsome. Velkin smiled quietly. That is why humans command fear, he said. Not because they destroy, not because they conquer, but because they endure, because they stand when others fall, because they never give up. On Horizon, the humans prepared for another encounter.
They repaired their ships, trained their crew, and studied alien tactics. Captain Carter reminded them of what mattered. "We do not fight for glory," he said. "We fight to survive. We fight to protect each other. That is why humans endure. That is why humans are feared." Lisa Brown nodded. "We will face stronger enemies, yes. But we will survive, as we always have. That is what makes us humans." Belkin continued his research. He looked at every battle humans had fought, every disaster they had survived, every challenge they had overcome. He realized that humans were not just lucky or clever. They were extraordinary. Humans had learned from history. They had learned from pain. They had learned from loss, and they used that knowledge to survive, even in the most impossible situations. Back on Earth, President Laura Hayes gave a speech to her people. "Humans have survived disasters, wars, and hardships. We endure because we care for each other. We endure because we never give up. And that is why the galaxy will never fully understand us. That is why humans are feared." The message spread across the stars. Alien species began to take notice. Humans were not just another species. They were survivors. They were fighters. They were fearless in ways no one else could imagine. Belkin watched as human ships traveled across the galaxy. He saw their courage, their discipline, and their determination. He understood why humans were feared. It was not because of their size, or their weapons, or their numbers. It was because humans never surrendered. They never panicked. They never gave up. On horizon, Captain Carter looked at the stars. He knew the galaxy was watching. He knew humans would face challenges greater than any they had seen before. But he also knew this: humans had endured worse. Humans had survived impossible odds. Humans had learned to stand together and fight when others would fall. And that was why the galaxy feared them. Belkin returned to his report. He wrote down everything. He described human history, their courage, their intelligence, and their will to survive. He concluded that humans were not weak. Humans were not ordinary. Humans were extraordinary. In the shadows of the galaxy, alien fleets prepared. They would test humans again. They would try to understand them. They would try to defeat them. But humans were ready. Humans had survived the past. They had survived the first battle, and they would survive whatever came next. Captain Carter spoke to his crew before they left for the next mission. "Remember our history. Remember what we have survived. Remember what makes us human. We endure. We adapt. We survive. That is why the galaxy will never fully understand us. That is why humans are feared." The crew nodded, ready to face the galaxy once more. They repaired ships, trained pilots, and prepared their weapons. But most importantly, they prepared their minds. Humans knew that courage, intelligence, and determination were stronger than any weapon. Belkin finished his report. He knew he had learned something important. Humans were feared not because they sought war. Humans were feared because they never gave up. They endured the impossible. They survived against all odds, and that truth would spread across the stars. The galaxy would soon understand why humans were not just another species. Humans were the survivors. Humans were the fearless. Humans were the ones who commanded respect and fear, even among the strongest alien civilizations. The humans of Horizon prepared for their next journey. They repaired their ships, trained their crew, and studied alien tactics. But above all, they remembered one thing: humans endure. Humans survive. Humans never give up. And that was why the galaxy would never forget them. The galaxy had begun to notice humans. Belkin watched from his observation station as rumors of human courage spread like wildfire. Alien fleets whispered about the strange species that did not panic, did not surrender, and never gave up. But some alien leaders were impatient. They did not understand humans, and they wanted to test them. A massive alien alliance gathered near the outer edge of human space. Ships of all shapes and sizes, armed with devastating weapons, moved in formation. Their commanders believed humans were weak, They thought humans could be crushed before they became a real threat. Admiral Kevin Ross aboard the human battleship Defender received reports of the incoming fleet. He turned to Captain John Carter and First Officer Lisa Brown. "They are large in number. They have more ships and stronger weapons. We cannot defeat them in direct combat." John Carter nodded. "Then we will not fight directly. Humans survive by being smart, not reckless. We protect our people first, and we fight only when necessary. Our goal is survival, not conquest."
Lisa frowned. "Do you think they will understand that?"
"These aliens will see our restraint as weakness." John shook his head. "They will learn soon enough. Humans are not weak. We endure. We adapt. That is why the galaxy fears us." The alien fleet arrived in human space. They moved quickly, expecting resistance. They found human colonies protected by fleets, but humans did not attack immediately. Instead, humans evacuated civilians from dangerous areas, moved ships to safe zones, and prepared defensive positions. Velkin watched closely. He could see the alien commanders growing frustrated. "Why do they not strike first?" one said. "Why do they not fight back?"
They are small. They should fear us. But humans did not fear them.
Captain Carter ordered his ships to take positions around civilian colonies. Pilots Kevin Ross, Daniel Brooks, and Maria Hill worked together to move ships in careful formations. They used clever maneuvers to avoid the alien fleet's strongest attacks while protecting their people. The aliens decided to strike. They attacked a small human colony with full force. Lasers, missiles, and energy beams lit the sky. But the humans were ready. Shields flared and ships moved in precise patterns. Engineers repaired damage as quickly as it happened. Soldiers protected civilians without hesitation. Maria Hill directed repairs in the middle of a damaged hangar. Sparks flew around her, but she continued working. "Keep moving! Keep repairing!" she shouted. "We survived together!" Young pilot Kevin Ross flew his fighter through the chaos. He dodged beams, returned fire when necessary, and helped cover slower ships. "We will survive," he muttered. "We always survive." Admiral Ross coordinated the fleet. He used intelligence, strategy, and discipline. Humans were outnumbered and outgunned, but they did not panic. They acted with careful planning, protecting their people and using clever tactics to frustrate the aliens. Velkin recorded everything. He realized humans were beginning to show a new side of themselves. They were not only courageous, but they also showed mercy. They could destroy the enemy, but they chose not to harm alien civilians. They fought only when necessary. One alien ship tried to board a human vessel. The humans repelled it with precision. No humans were killed unnecessarily. The aliens expected panic and fear, but the humans remained calm. Commander Zorlak growled. "Why do they spare us? Why do they not attack fully?" Velkin shook his head. "Humans are not cruel. They fight to survive. They protect their own, but they do not destroy without cause. That is what makes them dangerous. That is what makes them feared." Captain Carter ordered a counter-maneuver. Small groups of human ships flanked the alien fleet. They did not destroy the ships. They disabled engines, diverted weapons, and protected civilian colonies. Each move was calculated, careful, and effective. Lisa Brown watched the alien retreat slowly. "They are learning," she said. "They are seeing that humans are not weak. They are seeing that humans fight smart and care for others at the same time." The aliens began to hesitate. Their leaders argued. "They are small, weak, and yet they survive against all odds. How is this possible?" Velkin wrote everything down. "They finally see it," he whispered. "Humans are feared not because they seek war, but because they endure, because they adapt, because they never give up. That is why humans command respect." As the battle continued, humans rescued alien civilians caught in the fighting. Maria Hill helped a small group of alien children reach safety. Daniel Brooks guided injured aliens to medical ships. Humans acted with courage and mercy. The alien fleet commander Zorlak was furious. "They are strange. They have power in ways we cannot understand. They are fearless,
yet merciful. We cannot defeat them. Captain Carter spoke quietly to his crew. We do not need to destroy them. They will remember what they have seen. They will learn that humans survive. Humans endure. And that is enough. Velkan's eyes widened. He had never seen mercy and power combined in this way. Humans were not only smart and brave, they were honorable. They fought for survival, not for destruction. As the alien fleet began to retreat, they left behind the message that humans could not be crushed easily. Word would travel across the galaxy. Humans were no longer small, weak, and fragile in the eyes of alien species. Humans were cunning, brave, and merciful. They were dangerous in ways no one could predict. Back on Horizon, Captain Carter addressed his crew. Today we have shown them who we are. Not through weapons alone, but through courage, intelligence, and mercy. Humans survive. Humans endure. And the galaxy has begun to see why humans are feared. Lisa Brown nodded. They will respect us now, perhaps even fear us more. They cannot predict us. They cannot break us. We are humans.
Admiral Kevin Ross added, "Remember this, everyone. The galaxy will test us again."
They will try to challenge us, but we will survive. We have survived before, and we will survive again. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes humans feared. Velkan recorded everything. He realized that humans had not only survived, they had won respect. The aliens had learned that humans were not weak, that humans fought smart, and that humans acted with mercy and courage. Humans were strange, unpredictable, and powerful in ways no one understood. On Earth, President Laura Hayes received news of the battle. She spoke to her people. Humans have survived again. We have protected our people and others. We have fought with intelligence and courage. We have shown the galaxy why humans endure. And that is why humans are feared. As human ships repaired, trained, and prepared for the future, the galaxy began to whisper. Humans were not just survivors. Humans were clever, brave, and honorable. They were feared because they could not be understood. They were feared because they endured, adapted, and never gave up. Velkan smiled quietly. He knew the truth now. Humans were extraordinary. They commanded fear not because of strength alone, but because they had willpower, courage, and mercy. Humans could survive anything. Humans could endure anything. The alien fleet retreated to their home systems. Their leaders argued, confused and frustrated. Humans had not destroyed them. Humans had not taken revenge, yet humans had shown power, intelligence, and courage. That was enough to make aliens respect and fear them. Captain Carter spoke to his crew one last time before leaving for their next mission. Humans endure. Humans survive. Humans protect each other. That is why the galaxy fears us. That is why humans command respect. Never forget it. The humans of Horizon and other ships knew the galaxy was watching. Other fleets would come. Other species would test them. But humans had learned the lesson of their past battles. They survived by thinking, by acting together, and by never giving up. Velkan returned to his observation station. He wrote his report for the Council. He described the battle, the courage of humans, their clever tactics, and their mercy. He concluded that humans were feared not because they sought war, but because they endured, because they adapted, because they never gave up. The galaxy had begun to understand why humans were different. Humans did not fight for glory. Humans did not fight for conquest. Humans fought to survive, to protect others, and to endure. That was what made them extraordinary, and that was why the galaxy would remember humans forever. The galaxy had begun to fear humans. Alien fleets whispered their names, and Velkan recorded every movement. Humans had survived their first battles, shown courage, and protected their own while sparing others. Yet, the largest threat was still ahead. A massive alien coalition formed. It was larger than any humans had faced before. Ships of every type filled the space near human colonies. Their weapons could destroy planets.
Their fleets were faster and stronger. They believed humans were small, weak, and foolish. They thought humans could be crushed like insects. Captain John Carter stood on the bridge of the battleship Horizon. His crew prepared quietly, calmly. The humans were ready. They had survived worse. They had fought against impossible odds before. They had endured, adapted, and learned. "Captain, the enemy is in position," said Lieutenant Marco. "They are ready to strike." "Their fleet is massive." John Carter nodded. "Keep your focus. Protect the civilians. Do not panic. We will fight, but we will fight smart. We survive first. We endure first. That is what makes us human." Lisa Brown checked the ship's systems. "They will attack with everything they have. But we are ready. Our tactics, our crew, our courage. They will not expect the way humans fight." Velkin watched from his station. He could see the alien commanders grow tense. They had seen humans survive before, but never against such numbers. The aliens expected fear, but humans remained calm. That confused them. The battle began. Blazers, energy beams, and missiles streaked across space. Human ships moved with precision. They did not panic. They did not scatter. Pilots like Kevin Ross and Daniel Brooks dodged attacks, covered weaker ships, and protected civilian convoys. Engineers like Maria Hill repaired damage quickly. Every crew member knew their role, and they acted together. An alien flagship fired directly at Horizon. The beam struck the shields. Sparks flew across the bridge. Crew members shouted, but John Carter stayed calm. "Shields up! Divert power to rear engines. Adjust course," he commanded. Lisa Brown guided the maneuvers. "Move quickly. Keep civilians safe. Fire only when necessary." Human tactics were strange and unexpected. They split into smaller groups, flanking alien ships. They used clever tricks to disable enemy weapons without destroying the ships entirely. Aliens could not predict their moves. Velkin recorded everything. He shook his head. "Humans are extraordinary. They survive not by strength alone, but by courage, intelligence, and willpower. That is why they are feared." On one human ship, Maria Hill crawled through a damaged corridor. Sparks flew around her, smoke filled the air, but she continued repairing the ship's engines. "We survive," she said quietly. "We endure. We will not give up."
Daniel Brooks led a group of civilians to safety.
He protected them from enemy fire, guiding them through debris-filled corridors. "Keep moving," he said. "We survive together. We endure together." The alien fleet began to falter. Their numbers were large, but humans acted as one. Humans thought, humans adapted, humans endured. They did not fight recklessly. They did not panic. They protected each other and learned from every attack. Velkin could see the fear in alien commanders' eyes. They had underestimated humans again. Their fleets were larger, their weapons stronger, yet humans survived. Humans endured. Humans adapted. Humans never gave up. Captain Carter ordered a bold maneuver. Split into two groups. One group protects civilians, the other disables enemy weapons. We do not destroy. We survive, and we teach them a lesson they will never forget. The humans moved quickly. Pilots Kevin Ross and Daniel Brooks led the strike group. They targeted enemy weapon systems carefully. They did not destroy ships. They disabled them, forcing the aliens to retreat from battle without unnecessary destruction. Maria Hill coordinated repairs on Horizon. "Keep the engines running. Keep the shields strong. We survive because we endure." The aliens were confused and frustrated. "Why do they not destroy us?" Zerlak shouted. "Why do they fight smart instead of full attack?" Velkin shook his head. "Humans are feared because they survive, not because they destroy. They endure, they adapt, and they never give up. That is their power." As the battle continued, humans rescued alien civilians caught in the fight. They provided medical care, guidance, and protection. Mercy and courage combined. The aliens began to hesitate. They could not predict humans, could not break them, and could not understand them. Captain Carter spoke to his crew. We do not need to conquer. We do not need to destroy. Humans survive, humans endure, and that is enough. Today we teach the galaxy what it means to face humans and live. The alien fleet slowly began to retreat.
Their commanders argued. We cannot break them.
We cannot predict them. They survive every attack. We are defeated without losing a single ship. Vulcan recorded every detail. He knew the truth must be spread across the stars. Humans were feared not because of their weapons, not because of their size, but because of courage, intelligence, and willpower. Humans could survive anything, endure everything, and never give up.
On Earth, President Laura Hayes addressed her people.
Today, humans have survived against impossible odds. We have protected our own and even others with courage and mercy. We have shown the galaxy what it means to endure. And that is why humans are feared. As the alien fleets retreated to their home worlds, word of humans' courage spread. Vulcan sent his report to the Alien Council. He described the battle, the human tactics, the mercy they showed, and their will to survive. He concluded that humans were extraordinary. They survive, Vulcan wrote. They endure. They fight together, protect each other, and never give up. That is why humans command fear across the galaxy. Back on Horizon, Captain Carter walked among his crew. He did not boast. He did not celebrate. He only reminded them of what mattered. Remember this, he said. Humans survive. Humans endure. Humans protect each other. That is why the galaxy fears us. That is why humans are extraordinary. Never forget it. Lisa Brown nodded. We will be tested again, yes. But humans have endured worse. We survive. We adapt. And we endure. That is what makes us strong. The crew repaired their ships, trained their pilots, and prepared for future challenges. But above all, they remembered one lesson. Humans endure. Humans survive. Humans never give up. Vulcan completed his report. He sent it to the Alien Council. He wrote of courage, intelligence, willpower, and mercy. He explained that humans were not feared because they sought war, but because they never surrendered, never panicked, and always endured. Across the galaxy, alien species began to understand. Humans were not just another species. Humans were survivors. Humans were fearless in ways no one else could imagine. Humans endured against impossible odds, and they acted with courage, intelligence, and mercy. Captain Carter addressed his crew one final time before they left for new missions. Humans endure, humans survive. Humans protect each other. That is why the galaxy fears us. That is why humans are extraordinary. Remember this, always. The humans of Horizon and other ships traveled through space, repairing colonies, protecting civilians, and preparing for new challenges. They had survived the largest alien alliance the galaxy had seen. They had endured, adapted, and learned. Vulcan watched from his station. He knew the truth. Humans were feared not because they destroyed worlds, not because they conquered, but because they endured, adapted, survived, and never gave up. Humans were extraordinary. Humans were fearless. Humans commanded fear across the galaxy, and somewhere among the stars, the rumor of humans grew. But now, it was no longer a rumor. The galaxy had seen the truth. Humans survived when others would fall. Humans endured when others would surrender. Humans fought smart, protected their own, and acted with mercy. The galaxy understood why humans were feared. Not because they were cruel, not because they sought power. Humans were feared because they could survive anything. Humans could endure anything. Humans could stand together and never give up. And that truth would be remembered across the stars for generations to come. The humans of Horizon and all human fleets continued their journey through space. They faced challenges, yes. They encountered danger, yes, but they were human. They endured. They survived. They never gave up. And that was why the galaxy would never forget them. Humans were extraordinary. Humans commanded fear. Humans endured. Humans survived. And that was enough.